Welcome to the Maya on Money weekly pop-in video. This week I wanted to talk about why the rich get richer. So a couple of weeks ago, the Momentum UNISA Household Wealth Index came out. And this is an index that measures the overall wealth of South African households. And it takes into account both investments, but also debts and liabilities. And it found that the net wealth of South Africans' households increased by 1 trillion rand from the second quarter of 2020 to the beginning of 2021. Now, the main reason for this, all of us will say, oh, but people lost their jobs. How is this possible? It actually was pension fund, the growth in people's pension funds. Because if you'll remember, the beginning of 2020, the markets collapsed, but then they rallied and they came back very, very strongly. Now, this really talks a lot to the decision to cash in your retirement funds. Think about it. You've got 100,000 Rand invested in your pension fund currently. So far this year, by the way, since the beginning of the year, just 2021, the JSE is up by about 15%. The Johannesburg Stock Exchange up by 15%. So your 100,000 would have grown to 15,000 by 15,000 Rand. Now, maybe that doesn't feel like a lot of money. Maybe you're saying, you know what, that's not that much money considering the debts I have. I could pay off my car. I've got a credit card. You know what, let me rather just cash in my 100,000 Rand and, settle my debts, make my life easier. But what about a person who's accumulated R1 million so far in their retirement funds? That same market performance, identical market, 15%, would have given them 150,000 Rand more money in the first 2 months of this year, which is why the rich get richer, because the more money you have invested, the bigger the impact of those percentage increases in the stock market. So if you keep thinking your 100,000 is not worth it and you keep cashing it out, you never get to the million, which means you never are that person who in the first 2 months of the year made 150,000 Rand for doing nothing, just having your money invested. So I hope that gives you some food for thought and perhaps explains why I go on so much about really making sure that you don't keep cashing in your pension fund, because you're never going to be able to create wealth and get to that point where you have 1 million, 2 million, 5 million Rand. And those increases in the stock market really, really start to have an impact. So I hope that gives you a little bit of food for thought and look forward to chatting to you next week.